Animal structures and functions. So I don't know if you've ever wondered this, but how animals are able to survive in the wild. They don't have someone bringing them their dinner, or they have lots of predators. So the truth is that animals have developed certain adaptations with different types of functions that help them survive in their natural habitat. So let's talk about what is an adaptation. An adaptation is a change in the physical structure and its function or behavior that helps an animal or plant to survive in its habitat. There are physical adaptations, and so these don't develop during one lifetime, but over many generations and are location specific. Location specific. Animals in the Arctic will have different physical adaptations than animals in a forest or rainforest. These adaptations might make it very difficult for the animal to survive in a different habitat. This is why some animals are found in one area but not in another. Different structures or parts of an animal each play a role in how the animal or plant survives in its environment. So let's talk about some of those structures and functions. Structures are the physical parts of animals. For example, their teeth, claws, feathers, hooves, or fur. While functions are the behavioral roles of those structures. There are instinctive ones and learned ones. You can read about those behavioral functions here. Instinctive. It's instinctive for them to gather and store their food, or find shelter, or hibernate, or migrate, or defend themselves, or raise their young. Learned. Some learned behaviors are hunting for food, warning calls, or eating the right food. So, instinctual behaviors. A behavior an animal is born with and does not have to learn. Physical adaptations. Each animal has a unique defense mechanism that has evolved to the needs of their environment over thousands of years. In the animal world, they live by the laws of survival. The strong survive. Animals have many different defense mechanisms that can protect them against predators or gain them an evening meal. These are body structures that allow an animal to find and consume food, defend itself, and reproduce its species. Here are some examples of physical adaptations: camouflage, mimicry, chemical defenses, and body structures and parts. Let's look at camouflage first. Camouflage is a structure that allows organisms to blend into the natural background and go unnoticed. Animals, birds, reptiles, and fish use camouflage to evade predators. Mimicry. When one animal copies the appearance, actions, or sounds of another animal, the first animal is called the mimic, sort of like a copycat. This structure generally is used by an animal to mimic another to avoid predators. If it can trick its enemies into thinking it is something less tasty or more dangerous, it will survive. So, for example, right here, we have an eastern coral snake that is venomous, and the scarlet king snake is non-venomous, but if it mimics the eastern coral snake, then maybe its predator will leave it alone. Body structures and parts. Over many generations, animals have evolved their structures for body covering and parts. This enabled them to better survive out in the wild. Types of body structures would be feet, claws, fur, and feathers. Can you think of why an animal would need these certain body structures? Behavioral functions. Instinctive behavior functions are where an animal is born with the natural ability to know what to do in a particular situation. For example, when you run away from something unfamiliar and dangerous. Other examples would include what to eat, what to drink, what to do to survive, how to migrate. Behavior functions. Learned functions and adaptations come from watching other animals and from the animal's life experience. By watching penguins dive off of the iceberg, the killer knows if he waited patiently, he would get dinner. A blue jay learns to associate butterflies, like the butterfly with the bad, upset stomach. That one was confusing. Environment. Everything that surrounds and affects living things. The environment includes non-living things such as water and air, as well as other living things. Habitat. This is a place where an animal lives. Predator, an animal that hunts and eats other animals for food. Prey, an animal that is taken and eaten by another animal, a predator, for food. Survival, using structure, functions, and adaptations to continue to live.